Hello and welcome to the very first Based AF live stream with my man, Luke Franks, host of Welcome to the Metaverse, and a very special guest in the shape of Artur, whose surname I can never pronounce, and I'm not going to get it right or wrong today, but he is the CEO, Sychov from Somnium Space, and of course, the mastermind behind the Somnium VR1, a PC VR high-end headset. So who better to talk us through the momentous, extraordinary, jaw-dropping, or is it just a damp squib of an event that is, of course, the Apple Vision Pro? Artur, you were giving me a lot of hope that this would be a groundbreaking, exciting product. How do you feel now it is out in the world?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the invitation. It's great always to be with you guys and to have a great chat. Now on camera, most of the time off camera.
Yes.
I've never actually seen real you. This is the first time I've seen your non-avatar.
Oh, damn it. That's true. That's true. That's because I'm not near VR headset right now. But yeah, next time. Yeah, I mean, so I can kind of guide you through my motion wave and how stuff. So first of all, been super excited about this day. And like a disclaimer right away, I'm not a Apple fanboy or something like that. I deliberately I never use, or I used first Apple, then I was Apple on iPhone 3G, and then I switched to Android. And for all the years I was on Android, I'm a PC user. And right about 1 year ago, in anticipation of this headset coming, I bought myself a MacBook Pro, an iPhone, and AirPods, just to get back into the ecosystem, just to understand better before the headset was coming. So I use it from time to time. I'm not using it too often because the majority of time on PC. So today I had high hopes for today. We actually had a party, watching party here at the office, and I think it's a groundbreaking day, and I think it's a groundbreaking day for the whole XR industry. A bit of mistake, I think what they did is to guide us through all the watch OS and all the unnecessary, not interesting stuff before. So the hype was kind of dying out before they said about one more thing. I'm a bit sad that it was not an in-person event, so it was not like live event where we would hear the audience and the team would be on stage live. Yes, it's of course more risk, but come on, it's such an important product that they could have done it live and not pre-recorded.
But I think the reason for that is that it is simply too difficult to create the wow moment of AR live, because what you have is someone in a headset, and then you get a kind of like, maybe they can.
You could show the same things, right? But you should talk about it live. Like, I think people underestimate the presence of a person with all its, with all the personal emotions, like all the.
Okay, but listen. Tim Cook is not Steve Jobs. He does not have that thing. He does not have that thing, and that's a difficult pair of shoes to fill. But it isn't actually his job to fill Steve Jobs' shoes. It's his job to deliver the shareholders a product that we believe can be the next great compute platform. Is this it?
Yeah. I think so. So if we can break it down to sort of. So first of all, let's talk about the design. When I first saw the design, so I don't know if you've noticed, but 2 weeks ago I did an authenticity post, which I anchored on the blockchain, so nobody can say it's not there. It's there. I cannot delete it. And I posted the. I was playing with Midjourney, and I was choosing from like the renders, and I was trying to like synthesize a few of them, and I chose this one because I kind of thought like, okay, this might look like this, even though I thought it would look a little different. But I went with this, and oh my god, when I saw the first renders appearing on the screen, like especially from the front side, I said, whoa, okay, I was not that far away from the real product.
Pretty close.
That post actually got among all my socials got like 150,000 views, so it was pretty popular post. And I was talking about the use case, but we'll get there later. So the design, I think it's unique. I think they've done many things right. From the front, I think it looks great, especially with those eyes and screens and OLEDs and stuff. I think it's amazing. I'm a little bit surprised how thick it is from the site, because obviously we know, there is a certain distance of the eyes from the screen which we have to have, and you can't bend that reality. Basically, you have to have that distance, and you have to fill in that distance. So you have to have a cushion. So if you have a thin body, you have to have that cushion. So overall, I give them, out of 10, I give them 8.5 for the design. Like they really did a good job there.
Can I ask one design question very quickly? One thing they didn't really mention at all, and I don't know whether you can guess without trying it on, but is the weight distribution, right? Because a lot of headsets have a strap down the middle, and the most annoying thing is the weight on the face going forward. So all the materials look obviously really high quality and comfortable, but are you at all?
I would bet it will definitely. Like, I was surprised that the processing power units are in the headset. I thought they will be in that battery compartment, which they use. So just having their battery, I think it's a bit missed opportunity for them. But I think that head strap they have, that wide head strap, that's where some of the weight distribution will be. So they could play with the weight of that wide head strap, and they could put some weight to balance. So I'm pretty sure they will do a great job with balancing the weight. I'm 100% positive that it will be a well-balanced headset. It's Apple. Like one thing they know how to do is hardware. So it will be a well-balanced headset. I have no doubt about that.
So one of the key things is the front is all glass. Here's a Quest Pro. This is a deeply flawed piece of technology, but what it does give you is a sense of what it might be like to have a full glass front, and as you can see, it's covered in fingerprints, absolutely just riddled with them. That becomes a daily part of your existence with this thing. It has a cover. We didn't see any cover for the Vision Pro. It has to have one. Another thing that this has is just that so laughable. These flappy things.
No, okay. Can you please turn on the other way? The most laughable thing about Quest Pro, I'm sorry, I have to rant here a bit, is this cable on the side. Please, can you zoom in on that cable, please, which holds down like this? Yes, please. This is 1.5K piece of hardware with billions of dollars of investments, and they didn't figure out how to make cable not to be tangling like this on the side. Sorry, I just have to, honestly, I have to ventilate it. So again, I think on the design side, they did a good job. I'm pretty sure audio will be absolutely killer on Apple headset, because it looks like they put a lot of effort into that. I'm glad that it works with AirPods, because AirPods will provide you the true spatial audio and stuff. So that's the design. I'm a little bit surprised if we talk about from the design, not technology, but if I'm talking about from the design, I'm a little bit surprised about the size of the lenses. We'll get back there a bit later. I thought they would be bigger. Like Pico 4 has much bigger lenses than Apple. Again, it's hard to judge, but they look like a bit too small in my opinion. So that raises immediately questions about field of view. How much horizontal field of view we'll get from the lenses itself. I can judge maybe 105 max. That's a questionable, thing, whether it's enough or not. Because again, one thing what you see on the renders, another thing what you'll see in reality. We'll need to see, because there's a lot of VR tech journalists which are now at Apple Park as we speak, and they will probably report on the field of view. But I would expect we will not get above 110 degrees, which is okay-ish. If we get like Quest gets 95 degrees, so it's definitely wider than Quest, but how wider, I have no idea. Hard to judge.
Well, I guess there's a question here whether it's a dedicated VR device or whether it's AR with a bit of VR and a bit of like.
The problem is this is AR, but through VR pass-through, and in order to do that, well, you either need to, if you want to compromise on field of view, you need to take the side parts out, and the face cushion they provided looks like it's a rounded face cushion, so they seal your side just to look at the lenses. Right? If you just show Quest Pro again, it has on those sides, you can take it off, and then you'll see the real world, and then you don't care about the field of view too much, because you can still see the real world, and kind of blends into one. But it looks like the Apple will try to put you directly in VR, and everything you do will be through the screens because it has, what, 10 cameras, if I calculated correctly? That's insane. Like, we'll get there to the tech, but I think field of view is important. And especially because they have super high resolution screens, which they said it has 23 million pixels, the Apple style thing. So I can tell you very proudly that Somnium VR1 headset will have 17.5 million pixels. Would take it, with whatever information you want. It doesn't mean too much. But so the design is good. It's a bit too thick on the side. Otherwise, I have no complaints. So in my opinion, I would give them probably like 8.5 for the design. Still ways to improve it.
Well, it's the thing that stands out for me on this is that I've got one of these, right? And I wore this for 9.5 hours, and I sweated most of my body weight into the device.
Yep.
Washed it down with a cloth, good to go. This thing is single piece knitted headband. I worry because the Quest, for instance, the Quest 2 comes with a sponge. Basically, you put it on your face and it soaks up all your sweat and goodness, and then it stays there for the rest of eternity. So
are you planning on doing another marathon?
You just rewear your own.
Exactly. It looks like you're preparing us for this, man. I'm not watching that anyway. Okay. First one I did watch, but the second one I'm not watching.
Well, no, but I mean, I'm saying that like if this is a daily driver, like people they excrete oils through their hair. Let's put it that way.
It's a lovely way to phrase it.
But we do. Like, you put something on your face, you put something on your head, it is going to get dirty. So can this thing be washed? That's the question. I'm sure it probably can.
Vision Pro cover, that'll be $199, please, which is very true, isn't it? There's going to be
that is true.
It leaves a lot of room for accessories, and also I think the face mask, the thing which is between the headset and your face, that thing, which is pretty thick on this. This face interface, I think they will sell several of those, and they told it already. So I think they will sell some thinner ones, or like, it depends. So I think, first of all, Apple is good at hardware. They will think about those things. Trust me, if they thought about 10 cameras and how to scan your face, again, we'll get there when we'll talk about the tech. If they thought about this, they thought about how to make sure that your Apple headset stays clean if you want, and blah, blah, blah. So,
yeah, but I mean, yes. Let me show you something. This.
But
this is a dongle, right?
Yeah.
In order to use my Mac computer as a fully functioning piece of technology, I have to plug this stupid thing in because it's only got USB-C ports. Apple is good at hardware, but sometimes they make things like unnecessarily awkward and weird. And I'm looking at that battery pack. I understand the compromises you have to make, but it looks like a thing that is designed to catch on stuff. It's hanging. Did you notice they was always hanging out the back? So it's obviously quite a thick cable. But like, if you are just turning around and you catch this thing on, in your kitchen cabinet handle, then what? It just looks like a horrible design.
Ginevra from our community is writing, hi Dan, he's writing 12 cameras. So let's get to the tech. Okay, I think, look, imagine the amount of ergonomic third-party approved Apple accessories that will be selling on the market. That's a money-making machine. They need to make money. They will make money. I'm not worried about Apple's well-being. Okay, so they will make a lot of money on that. And it's good. Like, I'm happy that this product finally exists. I'm happy. And okay, let's dive into the technology.
Let's dive into the technology. Okay, where would you like to start?
I would like to start with the cameras and the clever ways how they utilize the front screen, because that's pretty epic. I think what they did with the eyes. I remember the leaks which were saying this. I heard that in the past, and I think that's very clever. I think it's very clever, and I think the way how you scan your face with those cameras, and it creates your 3D avatar. That's what I written in my post, by the way. I said, no, don't give me creepy, uncanny avatars with like emojis and all this stuff. Give me, because that's the ultimate avatar you want to have. And correct, every iPhone has the LiDAR and has the scanning of the face technology. The same way this headset, even in a better way, it will scan your face and will make your 3D avatar and that's how people will see you during the 3D FaceTime calls. So that is very clever. Like you do it once, AI generates the avatar, and then it generates an infinite amount of gestures and mimics and your eyes and everything. Clever.
I managed to
very cool.
I managed to get a grab of this. So this is
correct. That's very cool.
Yeah. So you point the headset at your face, and it takes a scan of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just let's take a moment to just understand how ridiculous it is that we can have this kind of technology in portable devices that we can own. It's sick.
Yes.
I mean, this is really the stuff of science fiction. It does raise some questions about the amount of biometric data that Apple will have.
That's another part which we actually discussed while we're having the party. When they started to announce those features, right? The first reaction of me was, wow, Meta is like rip Meta, really. And the reason I said that is not because this headset is better than Quest, blah, blah, blah. Of course it is, but it's much more expensive also. The reason I said that is because Apple has many things or few key things which Meta doesn't. Number one, it has amazing developer ecosystem. All the apps or majority of the apps from iOS and Mac will work on the device. That's number one. Number two, if I should choose who to trust more, like by default, I don't trust anyone. Okay, that's why we build Somnium as we build. That's why we build things open source. That's why we go for it. That's why I built Authenticity on the blockchain. But if I should trust one of those companies, yeah, I'll trust Apple more because I have some experience with that. And I think many things they say they mean, even though there are, of course, some backdoors and there's some drawbacks. But if you would give that device to me and it would be for Meta, like with that amount of cameras, I would freak out. I would not use it at home. Like I would just not use it because there's so much data in Retina and everything. On the Apple side, I think I will. I think unless proven differently, and unless we'll see that Apple misuses users' data, I would be okay to use it. But yes, of course, it collects a lot of data. But what they said is that it stays on the device on a special chip and blah, blah, blah. So we have to see and wait what will happen with that and how we'll explain it more in the future. What will be the technical explanation? But again, I'm more comfortable with using Apple headset. If that will be a Meta headset, it will be no go for me from the go. As cool as it is, I would not be comfortable using it at home. I would not be comfortable using it anywhere else than on a street somewhere working environment where I'm not afraid of capturing the whole environment around me, right?
It's interesting how Sam Altman with OpenAI is scanning retinas, and that seems scary and weird. And then here it's because it's like got a cool Apple name. I'm like, yeah, it's probably fine, but
I don't agree here. I have to disagree because what Sam is doing, he's scanning your eye retina and tries to give you crypto for that, and that is as creepy concept as it gets. Like, hey, we pay you to get your retina, and why do you need my retina? What's happening with that? Like, what is the concept? Like, nobody explains these kind of things, and they have something in white paper, but like that's creepy. Here, hey, I scan your retina to make your 3D amazing lifelike avatar, and by the way, it's the most secure way to pay for things. And by the way, whenever you look at something and you click with your fingers, it actually clicks that button. Okay, I understand the use case. Like, I can get the use case. I'm getting something back. I'm not just giving you the retina and you give me some money, one-time payment, and I'm done. So I think there's a difference. There's a difference. You can feel the difference by the use case. You will use it every day. Every time you click somewhere and it clicks exactly in that place where you looked at, you'll say like, oh, that's great. That's the eye tracking I want to have. That's the eye tracking I want to use. But again, of course, privacy needs to be at the top of concern, and Apple needs to go beyond their general normal explanations of how they will preserve the privacy on the devices. Like what I would expect from great reviewers to do, maybe I'll do it myself. I would expect Apple to connect the users to connect to the router and do the networking measurements and see how much data the headset is using, trying to break down the data times and stuff like blah, blah, blah. So we need to make sure that this is well done. But I believe that Apple could do it. I believe that they can nail it.
Well, they have to, otherwise, I mean, all tech is under extreme scrutiny right now, and Apple is no exception. It's one of the most valuable companies on the planet. So let's just break it down. So what we're looking at here is a woman with a headset on, and we can see her eyes, but if we're not actually seeing through the glass, we're seeing a screen
that
has a picture
the way
of
how they did it.
And what's so fascinating about this is a lenticular screen, which means it's three-dimensional from the viewpoint of the person looking at you. So it's basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to break down this barrier that inevitably exists when you have a headset on between you and the people in the world around you. And of course, that's the great promise of AR, that it's not a barrier at all. It's an extra set of information to give you context, to give you more, flexibility, more life, more interest in the world, or more productivity in the world around you. But I mean, what's interesting about this is that it looks sort of ghostly and as if she is looking through glass. It's not got that kind of ultra high definition look that you might think they could have gone for. That's a lot of stuff to pack in for just this.
I mean, it's amazing. Visual. Honestly, I have to comment. I have to say this is amazing because that achieves several things. That achieves that you will be like, you remember the days where it was awkward to wear AirPods, and
it's still awkward. No, it's not awkward, is it? It's changed.
It's it's. I think it's fine, and I think it's people use it, and I understand why, because they have such a good pass through for the audio. It just works so well. You hear yourself, you hear others, it blends in the environment. It's basically augmented reality, but for the audio. Like it truly is. And I think that what they are doing with this first generation headset, remember, this is the first gen headset. What they're doing is they are making it less socially awkward to wear the headset with your family and closest coworkers. That's the first step. That's the first step.
I've got something to say on that as well, but go on, Robin.
I applaud your enthusiasm for it, but I don't agree. But anyway, I'll let you carry on.
I mean, so I think that's the first step. You will remember this date, and you will remember this, and we'll come back in 10 years, probably maybe less, and we'll say, hey, remember we're wearing a headset outside or within the group of people was super awkward. And we'll all say, yeah, sure, we remember. It was crazy, stupid, but it will not in the future. In 5 years, in 7 years, you will wear these headsets in some social places. Now, maybe outside even, because honestly, what they didn't tell you is that the tracking will probably work. Like Lynx, I posted a tweet. The Lynx headset, it's an AR pass-through headset, uses same principle of technology. Of course, less cameras and stuff, but I was demoing it on the conference in Prague 2 days ago on a direct sunlight outside, and it worked really well. It tracked my hands. It tracked the objects which I placed there, like a car on the ground, and we're walking around this. So this headset, which Apple is introducing, with all the ARKit developers, ARKit exists for 5 years already. All those apps will be automatically compatible, and they show the demos of some of the apps. It will be automatically compatible with the headset. So imagine all your AR apps on the iPhone will work from day one on that headset, even outside. That is what nobody's talking about. So will I wear this headset outside if the pass-through is good and in real time and it tracks everything? 100% yes. Will I look stupid in the first half a year? Of course. Do I care? I don't care. Because if it gives me more additional value, if I get more information about the navigation, about the stores and reviews, I'll wear it. I'll just wear it. It's okay. So I think that's where they're getting it, because you want to wear this and not taking it off to speak to people. You will just have your transparency, mode on. You'll have your eyes on, and people will see your eyes, and they will love it. Like they will love it because it looks really realistic. Yeah, and in home environments, it's great. Your kids can see that you're in a headset. Like they can communicate with you. You can communicate with them. Yes, it's a bit awkward, but to be honest, it's cool at the same time. So they will love it. You will love it. Everybody will be having fun.
So here's a scenario. New York City, lovely day, walking down the street with my...
Oh, please. No. When it starts with New York City and lovely day, there's two things which sometimes don't go together.
Hear me out here.
Okay, I hear you out.
I'm painting you a picture. I'm rocking my Vision Pro. I'm loving life because I can see a complete, beautiful picture. I step into the subway. Immediately, I get mugged. Like these things are coming straight off my head. There's no way you're going out in public with these things. They're just going to get tea-leafed.
I'm sorry, sir. Whether you're wearing the headset or not, you're getting mugged anyway. So what's the difference? Like I'm sorry. I'm like give me what
But it's literally like paint the target on your back saying, please mug me right now.
They'll probably get tangled up in the battery cable though. So
that's what it's for.
Yeah,
that's what it's for. It's so that so that you can't get.
It's an anchor. It's an anchor.
Exactly.
It's an anchor.
We've cracked
it. Very smart, actually.
We've
exactly. It's exactly.
It's
not. Exactly. So I mean, look. First of all, the cable. It's very smart made. I don't know if it turns like because the cable tend to move when you move your head. Like I know it's from the headset. We put a lot of effort into making it ergonomic, like on our headset. But they did this magnetic snap, right? And I hope it turns so that cable can turn while you're moving. But even if it doesn't, I think it's magnetically detachable. So if you do like a big motion, smooth or whatever the move, it might detach itself, and it will not break. So that's good. I think that's a smart design. But yeah, I mean, look, I think people will wear this outside. This is the use case they didn't talk about on purpose, but I think it will work outside and people will use it outside and it will probably be as good outside as it's good inside, maybe even better.
Okay,
that's
so
no information yet.
So this thing, when you turn it on, there's a message that comes up. What do you think that message says?
Don't take it outside.
Don't take it outside.
Yeah, but you know why?
Because it will fry the cameras. It will fry the sensors.
No, it will not fry the cameras. It will fry your lenses. So again, what it tells you, by the way, when you take a Quest Pro, I'm sorry, again, I have to rant, Quest Pro minute. Quest Pro pass-through is terrible. It's horrible. It's wobbly. It's horrible. People who praise it, I don't know, maybe they've never seen a good pass-through or something.
It's color. It's color. It is grainy.
It's really, really bad. And when you put it on the sun, we did a test in the office. We had a sunny day, blasting at our window. We opened the window and we took Lynx headset, okay? High stand if you're watching. We took Lynx headset, which is an amazing piece of technology. We looked at direct sun through the headset. And then it's automatically adjusted the HDR, put it on the sun, and I can see the sun. The picture became a little bit dimmer. And then I take the Quest Pro and I look at the sun. What it does, it blasts the white image at me and the sun becomes a black dot. And I'm like, that's not the sun. It's like a black hole, you know what I mean? So that's all about the quality. And you will take this, I can bet, and we can bet today, remember my words, this headset will probably work outside and people will wear it outside. And I'll be the first one to take it out and try it on the street. Because the pass-through on this headset will be 10 times better in Prognote. Don't worry, it's all good. So it will be 10 times better than the Quest Pro pass-through. 10 times better. Because it has so many cameras.
Okay, so we are guessing here. We don't actually know.
Why do you think they didn't mention that, though? It didn't show going outside at all.
There's a lot of things that they didn't mention, but there's a lot of things they did mention. And we have an example here of something that is kind of extraordinary, that the visor reflects the activity you're doing.
Perfect.
Now, there is obviously, we have to go back to the Google Glass. This idea that someone will be recording you at all times, and like the just horrible sort of thoughts that raises about privacy and everything else. This is reflecting, am I looking at apps? You get a lovely blue thing. Am I pissed off at the world? It goes red. Like it's like this weird kind of thing that we've seen from robots in sci-fi movies. I'm thinking of Lost in Space here. There's a robot that reflects its emotional state by the colors that it has on screen. So we have a lovely blue thing here. Or we could see your eyes. I am with you, Artur, that I feel there's going to be a very brave bunch of early adopters who take this. There's going to be someone that develops an app that allows you to express all manner of different emojis, different parts of yourself. You could be a Cylon with a thing going on. There is this wonderful element of self-expression that might be possible through this thing, that I can see it being like a piece of high fashion. I can see it be. I think that bit of real estate right there opens up the door to like really hating some people for being early adopters, but also just like being a thing that, I don't know, just it's got so much that's interesting about it. I don't know. I find it
going to advertise on their screens, aren't they? With like
exactly
websites.
Look, again, Apple doesn't mention outside use because it opens a kind of worms of like liabilities and all the other stuff. They give you all the home stuff, but they know that ARKit apps work outside. Probably more than 50% or maybe even more of those apps are developed for the outside use. What do you think people will do with this? Of course they will use it outside.
Pokemon Go,
100%.
See you there.
Pokemon Go.
100%. So yeah. So I mean, 12 cameras? Are you kidding me? It will work flawlessly with the tracking and everything outside.
Flawlessly. Well, that was,
and even inside.
That was going to be the next thing, because we see this woman, she's having a lovely time. We've got 3D buttons and everything else, but there it is. So that little that crab claw thing going on. Do you remember when we did pinch to zoom and all this sort of thing with an iPhone? This is one of the kind of key things they were talking about, this new input model for spatial computing. We were expecting this from Apple because they've completely reinvented the way we interface with the world.
So I think, look,
where's this?
They will normalize hand tracking to a better extent. I think you will still need, for some activities, you'll need controllers. Like, controllers are important for some activities, and they're really ergonomic and good. For some activities, you just don't need them, right? For the casual watching movies and stuff, you can do it with the hand tracking. If it works really great, in conjunction with your eyes. Whenever you see something, you click it will be so natural to do that, because the hand tracking and eye tracking will work together so well as no other headset in the world right now, okay? That's very important. Like, I think, to me, the closest to mixed reality with a good hand tracking is Lynx today, because it works with your hand tracking, even on a direct sunlight, and you can click on the button and it works. But because you will be able to do it in a more native way, I think they will normalize it. Will they sell optional controllers for that headset? I think so. I would do if I would be Apple, because for some apps, like for some games, you want to have controllers. It's just better, shooting and all this stuff. So yeah, it will be natural. Like, they will make using your hand together with your eyes as natural.
I think they showed a PS5 controller, didn't they? Was that?
Yeah, they did. They did show control because for the games, but I think for some other games in VR, in native VR, they will want to have some controllers like other VR controllers. So they're definitely doing something like that. Accessories will flood the market. There will be tons of things Apple will be selling. So lots of money will be made on that headset, 100%. But I think hand tracking together with eye tracking is super important. It's super important.
The eye tracking is the one that is hard to wrap your head around, because I feel like it requires a lot of precision from the user. But I guess it's one of those things that you'll just start to just kind of bed into it as a way of interfacing with the technology. We forgot to give the lenticular screens their due name, because of course, Apple being Apple, they changed all the names on us. We thought it was going to be the Reality Pro. It ended up being the Vision Pro. The operating system is not XROS, it's Vision OS. So they are literally taking the entire name of Vision. There is an optometrist in the UK called Vision Express. They're probably crying. They'll absolutely, yeah. But the lenticular camera is called Eyesight. I mean, so Apple, right? They just land on the name, just the name. Oh, it's.
I love they dropped it in like we've created something totally new, Eyesight, and it just came out funny. It's like,
yes.
Eyesight.
So we get to some of the kind of less good stuff here, because basically the UX, I guess, is what we should probably call it, or the UI of Vision OS feels a lot like any other headset, really. I'm sure it'll be spectacular the way it can be resized and moved around.
No, it won't be as any other OS, because if you look at this is the missed opportunity for Meta, for example, right? Because majority of can I scroll back a bit? When I tried the 3D tablet 1 month ago, the Nubia Pad, where it has the natural 3D technology with 2 cameras without the glasses. You don't need glasses and you see images in 3D. It blew my mind. And it blew my mind in a way that I didn't expect. I realized how our usage of all apps, all the interactions will be in natural 3D. That's why I wrote that blog post about how Apple will revolutionize the calls when you will see people in 3D with a depth behind them. That's a game changer. Now, if you realize what you're doing on Quest right now, you're opening the browser, is 2D. You're scrolling through the text, it is 2D. Everything you watch in apps in front of you, it is 2D. It's just a bigger implementation of a 2D image. It's not 3D. it doesn't pop up directly. It doesn't do this animations and stuff. This will do it. I still feel they could have done better, but I think it's very hard to convey. You can see those apps, they pop up and stuff where you look, that's where it will shine. And then I think Disney, what they showed, and other things what they showed, that blew my mind completely. That these are the use cases I was writing about, and these are the use cases I was dreaming about. 1, calls, 3D calls. 2, the memories. You record things in 3D and you watch them in 3D as if you were there. You'll be looking at the window in your past. People don't understand that. People who didn't see the 3D tablet, or they didn't see, like, they will not understand it until they try it. And when they try it, it will blow their mind and they will not be able to think about anything else, because you will look at your past as if you were there. This is crazy. And the calls will be the same way. This is crazy. You will give it to your grandmother and she will see you in 3D. She will scream and cry. I guarantee you that.
This is one of those things where you have to try it. It's always the way with VR. Like there's a moment when you just go.
But the closest thing to try it right now and to understand how this will work is to buy that Nubia 3D tablet and try to have a live 3D call with someone, like Skype. Like I had this call, and this is incredible, but you're looking through the window of the tablet. It has depth. You can feel that there is a depth. Yes. You can feel everything. You can see the person. But imagine this in VR headset. Oh my God, this is crazy.
There's a Google, I think it's called Sky Box.
Yes, that's exact. That's the derivative of this technology. Yeah. But what I'm saying is this tablet is the consumer. I have it here. Like it's a consumer-ready tablet. It costs $1,000, and you can buy it and you can use it. That's what Apple brings you, but in a full VR. Another genius thing, which is a small feature, but you can dial the reality in and out, how much of reality you want to see and how much of reality you don't want to see. That's genius. That's great. That's a blending of your, like I was showing on our Somnium VR1 headset, because we have this highest resolution pass-through cameras on the market almost. And you can also keystone the environment around you and see certain things. Like, I don't know if you can find it.
I'm just looking for it now. There's a little moment.
She did it on the plane, didn't she, where she was taking it traveling and then blocked out everybody.
No, I think it was at home. I think it was at home. They were showing like you can blend in and out the stuff. And if you can open the blog post we did on the Medium, and I want to show the one video.
This is the moment where you turn the dial.
Exactly.
You've just got rid of it.
Exactly. But if you could you try to find, like, if you go Somnium VR1 Medium, there will be the first Malik, and there's a video in it, and I want to show you, because that's something which people, again, until you see it, I think I showed it to you recently, like until people see it, they don't understand it. But the moment you see it, the moment you blend the environments together, you're like, oh yeah, right, exactly. That's the future of the use case.
That's kind of, the Nintendo hand thing where it was the Game Boy 3D. You could dial in how lenticular it was, how 3D it was. Blew my mind, that, because it's like,
yeah, but that was rudimentary. We're talking about the next gen of it.
I'm giving people a sense of
exactly. Yeah, right. You're totally right. You're totally right. Exactly.
I'm trying to find.
I think this is genius. These are small things, like you can do VR, but VR without content and without proper interface is still a gimmick. This is something which brings it to a usable mainstream part where people who can afford it will want to buy it, or let me rephrase, majority of people will want to buy it, but some will only be able to afford it. And also, I do appreciate Apple, who came in and said, we'll sell you this thing starting from $3,500. And why do I appreciate this? Because finally people will understand that making premium VR, AR headsets, it's expensive. Like their bill of materials is 1.5K. Like there is a lot of tech coming into those headsets. And what we got used today, up to today, what we got used to the notion of, Meta, for example, selling it as a subsidy and losing money on each headset, that is a not sustainable business model. It cannot, be sustainable unless you compromise on many things, unless you lock people into the ecosystem and you sell their data, because you have to, otherwise you'll not make enough money to subsidize those headsets. I think Apple is going a little bit different direction. They're selling it to you with a margin. They'll be making money on the hardware, and they'll provide amazing software and experience for that. So I think I applaud them for doing that, because hardware, especially VR hardware, is hard. and it's expensive. It will go down, but it will go down at a certain pace throughout the next 3 years.
I just want to. I wrote some notes as I was watching the presentation, and there were a few things that jumped out at me. Obviously, the eyesight was one of them. This 3D knitted head strap was another, because I'm thinking, how do you clean it? How do you wash it? The micro OLED displays, as you said before, 23 million pixels. They phrased it as it's a 4K TV for each eye.
So we calculated it, and we knew it already before, but it's 3.5K by 3.5K per eye. So our headset has 2.8K or 2.9K per eye. They have 3.5K per eye. But I can say it's insanely high resolution, because I cannot see any pixels on Somnium VR1. I just cannot see it. And they took it even, slightly higher, which will be enough for years to come, right?
Well, they have a history. They have a history of doing this with the Retina displays on iPhones that then became the Retina displays on your computer, just upping the ante on resolution. Why does that matter so much when it comes to the kind of experience they're trying to give us?
Because in VR you're looking through the lenses and everything is magnified like 12 times, 20 times. It matters. Resolution matters. Whenever you see screen door effect, and literally any other headset below, like I would say below Pico 4 and like Somnium VR1 with 2.8K. Pico 4 is 2.2K per eye, and then we are 2.9K per eye. I think that's where you get to a point where you don't see pixels and you have this experience of fully immersive, environment around you, and not being broken with the immersion not being broken with the pixels. It's important, but I think with 3.5K per eye, they hit a sweet spot. Like I don't think you need to go super much higher in the future. Like you will probably go there, but it's nothing spectacularly important right now. It's enough to let people watch and read text and work on the apps and see small things from the distance, because that's where it matters. It matters in the small text, an Excel table, in those pictures and all the things. That's where the good resolution matters. What I'm worried about is field of view. They didn't say anything about field of view. I hope people who are still there and trying it out will write us about the field of view, because the lenses looked tiny bit smaller than I would expect. And that might compromise, because if you have a smaller field of view on the headset, that's a huge immersion breaker. That's a huge immersion breaker. For me, give me a low resolution display, but give me higher field of view. That's what I go for if I would have to choose. So I would need to wait and see what's the FOV. But otherwise, it looks spectacular. I mean, it looks great.
Well, we should expect that the visual performance when you put the thing on should be best in class. We should expect
it will.
Less. At that
100%.
price point, it should be
100%. They will, because Apple is known to always choose the best type of screens and the best manufacturers for their devices. Whether it's MacBooks, they always have great screens there. They just feel a bit more balanced. They feel, good. They just feel good, and I think that's what they'll do with the VR headset. So I have no doubt it will feel very, very well on your eyes and when you'll be immersed. So no doubt about that. The only thing is field of view. It's like it's like bezels on the iPhones. They got thinner and thinner and thinner during the innovations, But like how narrow the field of view will be. If it's Quest, it's too narrow. If it's roundabout valve index, like 105 degrees field of view, perfect. Like that will be at least minimum of 105 for me, which would I would need 105 to be comfortable in that headset, and higher. But less than 100 or 105, it's too low in my opinion.
I've paused here on the, what should we call these? The headphones, the audio
over the ear headphones.
Headphones. That's always a bit of a compromise. I mean, again, Exhibit A. I mean, the audio on this thing is diabolical. It's so quiet, you can't really hear anything. It's terrible. I'm assuming that these will be adequate, but probably not amazing. The whole thing is it's designed to be used.
Use Apple headset with this, and the reason why majority of VR enthusiasts hate in-ear headphones during their VR sessions, because you don't hear outside environment at all, and you're completely cut out of the experience. The reason why these are great is because they have the pass-through audio. So what I would recommend, if you buy this, just use your AirPods Pro with this headset, and you're golden, because you can have pass-through, you have the most immersive and clear sound coming to your ears, because in any way, over-the-ear headphones, they do lose some sound. You do lose some fidelity because they're not in your ears. They're just over this. They're great. Like Valve Index has great audio. But still, if I would have in-ear headphones with a pass-through, I would go for in-ear because it's just much more immersive.
So just add a casual another 200 euros to the price of the device. We're sort of heading up towards 4,000.
It's genius, man. They need to make money, of course. It's great.
Yes. The thing that stood out for me was they came up with this phrase, which is audio ray tracing. I mean, that was beautiful.
That's great. I think they will nail with it. Like, that's great. If they analyze with cameras the environment and they analyze the surfaces, and they can provide the lifelike reflections of audio as if you were watching the movie in cinema and stuff, that's epic. Like, I don't know how much exactly it's true, but honestly, if it's even 30% true what they're showing here, that's freaking mind-blowing.
How are they even doing that? Is that a LiDAR thing? They're measuring the room and then...
LiDAR plus cameras. Cameras and AI, they will recognize what objects are there and probably guess what materials are made of, and they'll try to, in the version 1, it will be mind-blowing, but it will still kind of be rudimentary in the back end. But with version 2, 3, 5, they'll be updating it, and that's where we'll be getting more and more mind-blowing features. But I'm pretty sure it will work great. So yeah.
I mean, if you buy a Dolby Surround system from like Sonos, it will tune itself to your room. It's not like it's the most mind-blowing thing, but I think what's interesting is that it's deploying all this depth sensing technology in new
plus
and unique
the visuals
ways.
Remember the basics of immersion is your eyesight, your sound around you, and in the future haptics, right? Like Tesla Suit is the important technology which will have to exist and will be part of the future of XR. But today it's your vision and your sound. If you nail those, and tracking, of course, but I don't count this because they have solved it. If you nail those two things, your sound and the visuals, your brain will believe anything you'll show it. Everything. That's the basics of immersion. So I think they are nailing it with those two things. Visuals will be great, and again, the FOV is important because whenever you cannot see this. The moment you see this, your brain realizes you're looking through through some glasses. If you have higher field of view, so your eyes are completely, taken up by the virtual space, and you have amazing sound. That's where your brain totally believes that you're where you are in virtual reality.
Yeah, they use the word experience a lot. We tend to get this when we have brand new technologies that are designed to improve our lives and create better experiences. And I always find myself trying to understand what they mean by experience. And, I've been trying to figure out what is a good definition of an experience. And the best one I read was that it's the things that you experience through your senses. So touch, taste, hear, combined with the emotions that evokes, plus the thoughts that provokes. So that gives you experience. So of course, if you're only getting sound and vision as part of the experience, you're really sort of shortchanging yourself in terms of the richness of the overall experience that you can get. And this feels like the very, very kind of most advanced Ferrari version of this limited experience. And of course, you and I have been talking about haptics, about smell, about taste, really amping up to like 4 out of the 5 sensations that we can possibly have that can really take you to that place. But I think when I watched this, and I particularly was watching the entertainment section when they were talking to Bob Iger from Disney, you started to see a picture.
Blew my mind.
I think that was the bit that everyone was just like, hang on a second, because like it's one thing building a piece of technology and saying we could do this. It's a whole other thing, as you rightly said, Artur. It's the entire structure of Apple's ecosystem.
Blew my mind.
They have 34 million registered developers. Think about that. 34 million registered developers for iOS.
Yes.
They have
Meta. I'm sorry to say that. Like they have a problem. They have a problem.
It's really powerful. And so that plus then a willing entertainment partner with the deep enough pockets to create, Star Wars plus Marvel plus everyone hooked in.
Show me the basketball. Show me the basketball thing, because I want to talk about that for a second. And
yes.
coming back to immersion, I want to say one more thing. I probably said you this story, maybe not. I said it on some podcasts in the past publicly. But when we're testing Somnium weather system, and we were testing thunderstorms. It was a sunny day in Prague. I remember it as if it was today. It was a sunny day in Prague, and the developer sent me the build, and I took my Valve Index on, and I went into Somnium, and I pressed the button to activate thunderstorms. And the clouds went on, the rain started pouring, and then the lightning and thunderstorms started to go out in the distance, and the sounds were coming in. And I kid you not, I felt the smell of the rain, like on the sunny, on a rainy day in the summer. I felt the smell of the rain, and I took the headset off. I looked at the window. It was still a sunny day. I turned to my wife and I said, "Oh my God, my brain generated that smell to me." Like, that's what immersion is. If you have great visuals, if you have great sound, your brain could even generate other senses for you, because we all know them. That's the power of VR. That's true power of VR.
I think it goes deeper than that, because
of course it does. But I'm just saying, even this works.
But I think it's the, being a filmmaker, being in that intimate relationship with an audience where they're sitting there and they are invested in what you are presenting to them. And when you're in a great film, there's a moment where you stop realizing that it's a film, that you are in it, that you want to be in it, and you don't want to leave. A great film can get you there. But I remember my first experience when I truly got VR. It was a Star Wars experience. I had a lightsaber in my hand. There were droids shooting at me, and I could hit the beams away. I just went, I don't want to leave this. It's crazy. I'm looking at this picture on screen now. A woman on her couch watching a TV, a massive movie screen, and the storyteller in me is just going, I cannot wait to see what we can do in there. I cannot wait to watch a movie in that way, because because the cinema is dead, right? The cinema, as I knew it when I grew up, is dead, but it's not. It's now here. And that gives me tremendous hope that the storytelling worlds that I want to create, the storytelling mediums that I want to create, are going to evolve in ways that are way more.
Everything will change.
Can I ask one thing on that point quickly? Because amazing, and that Disney bit gave me goosebumps, right? That was the
me too. Me too.
Yeah, it was amazing, that whole demonstration, and yeah, it was really exciting.
Yeah, this
isn't
it. This is just a game. The bit you're talking about was the.
Yes.
It's not actually. I don't think it's.
Sorry, Luke. I just want to. While you look at the thing, can you find a basketball game?
I'm going to try and. I'm going to see if I can find it. Yeah. Let me find that.
Go ahead, Luke. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No. But my point was, one of the best things about watching a film for a lot of people, you may disagree here, Robin, but is you're sat on the sofa with family or friends or whatever, and you're kind of watching it together and conversing like that. I mean, hopefully you're mainly watching the film, but this does strike me as it's a very personal device, right? It's going to be an amazing experience, and all those things are great, but it doesn't feel at all social, apart from maybe
you don't know because they didn't talk about multiplayer experience where you'll be having two headsets and you'll be watching the same movie. It definitely will work like this. I'm very
for sure, but
like
if you're with your wife, girlfriend, partner, whoever, and you're snuggling up on the sofa, like that experience completely changes, right? You're not going to kiss in these headsets or anything like that. So the experience is amazing, unrivaled. It's going to be crazy, but there is that social element.
My buddy Simon,
that's VR will not change. It will not replace your life. It will enhance it. Like that's the thing I'm telling already for several years. People ask me, Artur, why you hate reality so much? I said, I don't hate reality. I love reality. I love to go outside and work outside, but I also love to enhance my life. Like I want to enhance a few hours per day. I want to enhance my reality, and I want to live through things which I cannot live through in my real world. So yeah, it will not replace your life, but it will enhance it. So you will watch a movie with your girlfriend and with your wife, you will kiss her, but maybe one day a week or 2 days a week, you'll watch together an incredible 3D movie where you'll be completely immersed, underwater with the ships and explosions and stuff, and you'll take it off and you'll say, oh my God, we've seen something we've never seen before. I said, rip cinemas, because this is something where, if you bring this to home to me, why would I go to cinema again?
Well, that's divorce the theatrical experience of the cinema, which, to be fair, is still amazing, from the pure act of consuming entertainment in a really unique context. I think it's really important to just take a moment to understand kind of what you're saying here, Artur, which is people critique you for spending all this time in virtual worlds. Human beings have been creating virtual worlds for millennia. This is nothing new. It's not about technology.
Of course.
It's about transporting ideas to another realm in order to explore them better and to learn from them. Like, you know, belief in a religion is the belief in a virtual world. You know, gods in ancient Greece, that's a virtual world. They just live through statues and rituals and other kinds of things. But fundamentally, what happens is when you are in dialogue with these virtual worlds, you can explore ideas and you can learn things and you can culturally grow and emotionally grow in ways that when you're forced to just sit at a desk and work all day, every day, you are not exposed to. And in this sort of productivity driven culture that we're in, we lose sight of that and it becomes something that's seen as frivolous and not worthwhile. Whereas actually, I think it really has something valuable to add to people. It's just the technology feels like it's a barrier and an impediment or something that gets in the way. But I think, as you rightly said, those who get it and are ready for it will adopt it. And then at a certain point, it becomes self-evident. I do have the Bob Iger thing here. But I think as I go further and further into trying to understand why it is that I'm so obsessed about the metaverse and why it speaks to me in so many different ways and why I struggle to understand people's skepticism about it or hatred of it or dislike or mistrust of it, I kind of keep coming back to what it is and why it would be useful to us. And it becomes easier to understand what that's going to be when you can see products like this. Like,
yeah, I see the discussion there in the chat. I have to react there. Someone wrote that it's like, Jennifer wrote it's like 40% more pixels than Somnium VR1. First of all, I think it's less if you calculate correctly. And also, it's not about the amount of pixels. It's also about optics. If you have optics, that's why I'm so, putting a lot of pressure on the optics they have. Because one thing is having great screen. Another thing is having great optics together with screen. So they have pancake optics, and it's a 3-layer optics. It's all about sweet spot and a clarity and field of view. Now, yes, they have a high resolution screen than Somnium. We have 2.9K, they have 3.5K, but our field of view is 125 degrees horizontally. I don't know how many, I don't think they will be able to reach that. And to me, the field of view is much more important than the pixels. And the pixel count is not the only metric. It's also about the optics and how you put through. And again, I am sure Apple have amazing screens and amazing visuals, no question about it. The only question I have is field of view, and that's one of the more important things there to immerse.
Let's have a look at this Dizzy thing.
Yes,
because this is the thing that everyone.
I got goosebumps when I was watching it. Like, I have to confess.
So this is Bob talking about it. Let's see if we can scooch through. I'm sorry, this is on the whose site is it on? Let me just try and get a little bit further on.
Oh, CNBC famous player, yes.
Okay, here we go. So we've got some Mandalorian stuff here. So what if you were watching The Mandalorian, you could get this extra context and you could actually be in a starfighter.
It's amazing.
Baby Yoda.
Amazing.
Or you could have multi-content sports. I mean, this looks like a nightmare. It's like, but this.
This is becoming like, that's where it becomes absolutely crazy. And this is the moment which completely, that's why, okay.
Yeah, this is wild, right?
Okay, so Apple has bought a company which called NextVR. I think in 2000, it was a Dutch company. I remember going to the early meetups, VR meetups in Amsterdam in 2017. And the CEO of NextVR, they were using like 360 huge rig cameras to record sports events and stuff. And then they got bought out and nobody heard about them anymore, ever. And, when Apple bought them out, everybody said, okay, that's what they will use to record this content. And I think that's what we're seeing here. So you will be able to watch the sports from different angles, from the top-down views and analyze. Like, this is crazy. people don't get how much more this will become.
Yeah, this is basically the future of sports books. This is betting taken to a completely different level, which, whether you like it or not, sport really is now reduced to kind of numbers and analytics and everything else, and this contextual data for the ultra nerd, yowzers. They did say Disney Plus was going to be available on the Vision Pro, but you'll still have to subscribe to it. So this court view replay, so you see the actual play on your table. I mean, it feels like
AR.
it wouldn't be in real time, or would it? I mean, the optimal experience of this is that it happens in real time. You'll be able to pour over the play.
I think it could be both.
And that's going to be amazing when everyone has one, right? That'll be hilarious when you're able to sit with your friends and make other plays that you think they should have done and stuff like that. And I can't wait for that. And I love all of this, but this won't be. You're not probably going to watch a game with your friends around cracking open the beers if one of you's got one. Yeah, that's my thing. But I guess this is the start.
Well, I guess what it comes down to is if you are watching on your own, or you're watching with friends who are not in the house with you, they could be socially present with you on another screen. I know what you're saying. But the point is, this is a demo. This isn't real.
Yeah, of course.
What it's doing is it's pointing away, and it's giving us a glimpse into their imagination and what they're thinking about. You would have thought that sport had kind of reached the limit of all the innovation it could ladle onto us. But I think we also have to take a step back and say, what is Apple betting on here? We wrote an essay film about the death of the iPhone, saying that this idiotic thing that we have in our hands, this square, will go away. And people laughed at me and they said, no, of course it won't go away. We'll always have a phone. Yeah, but it won't be made by Apple. And if it's not made by Apple, then you'll be on a different platform. And if you're already invested in all the paraphernalia that goes with being an Apple, you'll move to where the best Apple experience is, and that will be a headset. It's just inevitable, because Apple have got to make it work. It would be pretty embarrassing if they couldn't make it stick. But I guess they have so much money.
And I think
they will just make it happen.
That's why the whole presentation before the headset felt so obsolete to me, because we knew the headset is coming. And I was telling all the time, like when they were announcing new widgets and everything, I said, wait a second, the headset is coming. There's a new platform out there. Why would you want to use these things if you already have the headset? And the answer is, it will just not be evenly distributed. So suddenly those people who will be able to afford those headsets will be living in a complete alternative reality. Like their work will be in a completely alternative reality. Their leisure time will be in a completely alternative. Like it's like, when I tried the 3D tablet, it's like, something which others don't have. I remember having the first iPhone and, showing to people like Shazam for the first time, showing friends these jokes, if you remember those things where you like pour water from the phone and it uses accelerometer to like all those tricks and things like that. Like people were amazed, and it felt like two different realities: people who had iPhone at that time and people who didn't have iPhone at the time. And this will be even more. The gap is widening. And exactly as Palmer Luckey said, he said, Apple will not try to make a headset which millions will be able to afford. It will try to make a headset which millions will want to buy. That's a huge difference, and it's a big difference from Meta. This is what Apple is doing. And again, the gap of understanding the reality and experience will be widening in the first few years.
Justify it, right? I remember that with the iPhone, when you look and they'd be like £600-700 for a phone.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody lost an iPhone. Everybody said nobody will buy a phone for $450-500.
Yeah, but you might get it on a contract and you pay monthly for it because it becomes essential to your life, doesn't it? So yeah,
yes. But we made the point on the podcast that it's Apple's greatest trick. They made a mass consumer luxury good. They made a mass consumer luxury item that somehow you have to have it. It's
not because you have to have it that it doesn't bring you anything. It's just the luxury thing. No. It will enhance your life 100%. Even from the videos we've seen today, and this is the version 1, and we didn't even see all the use cases because they have almost a year to show us everything. They'll start shipping in 7-8 months. This is huge.
Well, I heard Q4. It was the latest word on the street.
No, they said it's like starting next year. So
and the price point is what it is. I mean, this is not something that all but the very bravest will go out and buy. I mean, if you think about the Mark I iPhone, I mean, what a piece of crap that really was in the end. The Mark I Apple Watch. This feels a bit more kind of
but this feels better than version 1.
it does.
This is already a solid version 1, and what I want to say, one thing you need to read between the lines. I think it's the first time when Apple said, hey, we're shipping it next year, which is 7 months away or 8 months away, but we will be deploying those at Apple stores, and go and try. They encourage people to go and try it. Why? Because this is the only way how you can properly understand what this device will bring. Again, they will make millions of people want to buy this headset. This will be definitely not something you could have.
It's definitely not something you could have launched during COVID, is it? Oh yes, let's go let's go to a store and put this thing on your face that about exactly other people have won. Exactly. Do you know what was conspicuously absent from the entire presentation? Although it was there, just not even named as such. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not really. I mean, many things, I guess, but not really. Where are you going?
Not a mention of AI. It was there in.
They had some machine learning stuff,
Thumbs up from Apple, honestly. Thumbs up that they didn't do it. Like that's great. And no mention of metaverse. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you, Apple.
But also no mention of Siri. You would have thought.
No, they did. On the headset, no. On the headset, no. On the other products, they did mention Siri.
But it wasn't deeply embedded in the experience the way you would have thought it was. Because if you're getting rid of controllers and you're doing voice, eyes, fingers snapping.
While everything the headset is doing is AI. Everything is machine learning. Like all the vision, the eyes, the sound, even some of the apps, the 3D apps calls and stuff. This is all AI. And by the way, the tablet I was talking about, it can convert even YouTube live streams in real time by using AI videos from 2D to 3D. It's just a matter of update for Apple to do these things for all the shows and all the live streams and all the content. Like whatever picture you'll take with your iPhone outside will become a 3D picture in that headset. Imagine this. Imagine you're getting a picture from your grandmother or from your friend. And instead of looking at it in a 2D, you take on the headset and you feel the depths of that moment. Come on, this is the killer. Only this one feature will justify $3,500 a cost. I guarantee you that.
I love how 3D TV seems to be having a renaissance when I thought it was firmly buried in the ground type thing.
Better way of it. Okay. One caveat, better way of it, because the new wave of 3D technology uses 2-layer screens plus 2 cameras and AI to generate the 3D image. That's a little bit different story than the old types of 3D TVs. That's a pretty big difference. And the tablet I was talking about, it's exactly this. You have 2 cameras, they always watch your eyes, and the way you tilt the screen, the image stays fully volumetric and it pops out of the screen. That's a difference. That's a big difference from all 3D TVs. So yeah, it has the new tech because AI is here and the cameras are, not as expensive anymore, and the screens are not as expensive anymore. So you can put 2 layers of screens and render different pixels to different eyes. But the headset will do it naturally because there are 2 lenses and 2 screens already. So yeah, pretty nuts.
There's one other last thing that I wanted to bring up, which was interesting because being a father, I take tons of pictures of my kids. They were talking about this headset having a 3D camera built in. Honestly, I think that's amazing. I actually think that's amazing.
Live forever right there. We'll do it in VR. They'll do it in AR.
There's in Minority Report, Tom Cruise's character watches 3D projections of his dead kid and kind of lives through that.
Yes.
It's a bit goofy in the promo when the father's kind of there with his headset on and he's casually making like food and being all goofy. I can't see myself doing that, and the whole kind of 3D photo, like you're just there going.
I can because I use VR headset at home a lot, and my kids are used to it because I work in VR. And I do, on Pico 4, you can tap 2 times with a controller on the headset, and it turns on the pass-through. Whatever pass-through it is, it's still better than Quest, but like it's a color pass-through, and I can talk to them. So they don't see my eyes. That's a big difference on Apple headset, but they still know that I can see them, and I can talk to them sometimes like this. So I can see myself communicating with them through the headset if they see my eyes, and it will be fun for them. Again, I will not do it all the time, obviously not. But if I'm working and if I'm doing something and the kids are next to me and I just turn to them and I say something and they see my eyes, that's the conversation types, like those bits and pieces. This will make a big difference between being completely off and being able to communicate with good audio and good visual quality of your eyes. So I think that's clever. That's really, really clever, in my opinion. But the 3D pictures, this is the game changer. 3D voice calls, 3D pictures, the content of the movies and Disney. These 3 things will justify every bit of price level Apple asks for it. Because when you try it, your mind will be blown. I can guarantee you that. And I'm not an Apple fan at all. I can just say that I know what it means to have this volumetric things and watch the volumetric content in real time. This is mind-blowing stuff, and I really applaud Apple for doing that. So again, to me, if I would summarize today's day, I think it's a big start for XR industry. I think this is a big company. It clearly shows me the way they did the hardware and the amount of sensors they put in and the amount of technology they combined together. They were thinking about it for many years, like 8 years they were working on this headset, while everybody else were trying to put some sensors here and there, put the price as much as possible down, and just throw something at people and make it as mainstream as possible. They waited their way, and they will wait still because it will be a high-end product, and eventually it will come down to maybe $1,000, and everybody will be able to afford it. But yeah, I just applaud them for this. This is a great day for XR and for the industry in general, in my opinion.
Well, unless you have anything else to add, Luke, we should probably wrap it up there. Just want to say,
just my favorite comment that I'm reading from B34K3R is, can it copy paste? Which is a good question.
Speaker.
It can.
It
can.
Speaker, sorry.
It can.
Speaker. I remember that on the first iPhone, like just copy and pasting stuff was a real pain in the butt.
Yeah,
but, it was.
It was. Lovely stuff. Well, Artur, thank you so much. Mr. Artur Sychov.
Thank you for having me.
Get your name right.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. I'm sure we're going to do lots of great stuff with you. In fact, I know we are. Towards the second half of the year, and really appreciate you coming on and sharing your insights with us. Luke, I'll pick up with you on the pod, and we can go through this in a bit more detail and pick up some of the reaction from the industry and people at large. I'm sure it's going to be mixed, but as you said, Artur, kudos to Apple for taking the plunge and getting a product out there, because now at least we know it's here and we can react to it, but nobody can actually use it yet. So on that note, I'm going to say
all good.
Goodbye. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.